I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design. Let's take my 12 centimeter Imusa cup, get some water here, take it over and boil it on my alcohol stove. I wish every AT shelter had one of these. Unfortunately, they don't. But they usually do have some pretty nice springs. Today I want to talk about windscreens and stove position when you're going to cook out on the Appalachian Trail. Now today I'm using an M4, but it's one of the older M4s. The old style I don't sell anymore. It has the heat shield over the silicone and a standard top. The newer M4s have a droop top and don't have the heat shield, and I think they're a little better stove. So when I get done with this video, I'm probably going to take this in and put it on the used gear section of the website. In Wick stoves at the end there's usually some used gear. And who knows, I might even make a couple of elites and put those in there too. That'd be kind of fun. So let's boil some water. Okay, it's been about 8 minutes and I have boiling water. Now there's several points I want to make on this one video. One is, windscreens are a very important tool when it comes to working with an alcohol stove, because alcohol stoves don't take wind very well at all. They're a low vapor stove, and it takes very little to divert the flame. Now, obviously, goes without saying that when you put a windscreen around, you want the open part downwind. You obviously wouldn't want it upwind where the wind could blow right into it. Now, if you can get in against the wall and put the windscreen ends on the wall side, that is ideal. And then you can look in with a wick stove, especially this M4, which has a large wick, and wherever the alcohol is on the wick, you'll see a luminous orange, bright orange line, and you can adjust the flame of your stove by simply squeezing the fuel bottle and watching that orange line and bringing it out to the edge or letting it go back to simmer. Okay, now I've watched a lot of people using windscreens, and a lot of people use an aluminum windscreen. That's okay, but if you're going to use an aluminum windscreen, you want to keep it out away from the stove quite a ways, because especially if it's a little bit windy, the breeze will get in and it'll move the flame, and it will hit the windscreen and heat it up hot enough so if you touch it, you're going to get burned. Second thing is, if you move a windscreen in too close, you'll create a chimney effect where the heat from the stove is going up by the pot, creating a vacuum, and pulling the flames out and up, and that'll also heat up a windscreen quite badly. But most importantly is how high your stove is off the ground. The lower to the ground you can get your stove, the less wind you'll have and the less problems you'll have. If you put it up on a stand up here, like on a tree stand, you're getting like the ultimate wind, and it will blow around. You'll have a hard time with it. It'll take longer to boil, and if you use an aluminum windscreen, you don't want to touch it, because it certainly will blow the flame out and heat the windscreen up, and you'll burn your fingers. I use a carbon felt windscreen for a couple of reasons. One is it's real durable, and you can use it for several things, like using it for a pot grabber. But more importantly is, if the flame does hit it, it has no effect on it at all. And if it hits it in one spot, the rest of the carbon felt doesn't get hot. This screen, you can see I've got it on here. If that was aluminum and I did that, I certainly would burn my fingers badly. Also, aluminum windscreens, if you do get them up too close and the flame actually hits them, they'll melt, and that's not cool. So I recommend that you keep your stove down low to the ground to keep it out of the wind, and I recommend that you use a carbon felt windscreen. Captain Log Supplemental. One more thing I wanted to say. My biggest concern with anybody using an alcohol stove is not burning yourself on the flame, and we've all nipped ourselves and got a little too close and burned our finger, or picked up a pot stand that was still hot, or a stove that was still hot and burned itself. That's not a problem. It's usually a small burn and it's usually first degree. It's not that big a deal. My number one concern is the water in the pot. If anything is a major danger when cooking, it's that water in that pot. There's a whole bunch of BTUs in a small place. And if you tip that pot over and dump it onto your clothing, you're going to get burnt badly. So I recommend that if anything you want to pay attention to is when that pot is full of water and the water is hot and boiling, is to be extremely careful with it. And just to keep things to a minimum, the lower this pot is to the ground, the less chance there is of it tipping over and burning somebody. If it's way up here and it tips over, it's going to go all over you. If it's way down here, at the very worst, you'll spill it on your boots. And when you do pick it up, be very careful when pouring it into your bag to rehydrate that you don't pour it over your fingers or over your clothing. Just a thought, and I'd like everybody to be safe and happy. I hate to see anybody get burnt, and I have burnt myself doing that a few times, and it's no fun, especially when you've got to pack out the next day and you've got a burn to deal with. No fun at all. I'm Tinny from Mini Bull Design. Get out and hike, take a friend, enjoy the great outdoors, and more important than anything, try to have a really great day. Try to cook some great meals on your alcohol stove, and try to have some fun today. Boil some water, make a meal, unroll your sleeping bag, try to take some weight out of your pack, go for a walk, something. Bye-bye.